Your Excellencies, may we remain upstanding respectfully for the national anthems. We may be seated. Your Excellencies, Ministers, Deputy Ministers, High Commissioners, senior government officials, members of the media, it is my honor to request His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and Chair of this 4th Binational Commission, to deliver opening and welcome remarks. Mr. President.
Thank you, Program Director. Your Excellency and dear sister, President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, ministers and deputy ministers here present, ministers from the South African delegation, and ministers from the Namibian delegation, senior officials who continue to make the work that is done between our two nations possible, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you and your ministers and indeed your distinguished delegation to South Africa for the 4th session of the South Africa-Namibia Binational Commission. Your visit is a reaffirmation of one of the most enduring and treasured partnerships on our continent. Namibia is not merely our neighbor. Namibia is our sister nation. The friendship between our two countries was forged not by convenience, but through struggle, sacrifice, and solidarity. Together, our people resisted colonialism and apartheid. Together, we stood for justice, freedom, and human dignity. And together, we helped to shape a Southern Africa that is today defined by democracy, peace, and cooperation. It is this shared history, a rich history indeed, that continues to inspire our shared future. This commission, therefore, represents far more than a bilateral meeting between our two nations. It represents our collective determination to build a partnership that advances prosperity for our peoples, a partnership that contributes to the development and to the stability of our region and our continent. I wish to commend our ministers, our senior government officials, and the technical experts for the considerable work that they've undertaken during the past 3 days. Their deliberations, in many ways, have prepared the ground for today's engagement and demonstrate the seriousness with which both our governments approach this very special partnership. Today, we build on the outcomes of previous Binational Commission sessions and the extensive body of agreements that already exists between our two countries and that bind our people together. The true measure of our success, however, will not be in the number of agreements that we have signed, but it will be the effectiveness with which we implement the agreements that we have entered into. Implementation must now become our foremost priority. Your Excellency, we meet at a defining moment for our continent. Africa has become central to the future of the global economy. The world increasingly looks to Africa for the critical minerals, energy resources, agricultural potential, and strategic partnership that will shape the industries of the world into the future. The question before us is therefore not whether Africa possesses these resources. The question is whether Africans will be prepared to capture the value that they create. South Africa and Namibia have both the opportunity and the responsibility to ensure that our natural endowments become engines of industrialization, of innovation, of skills development, and of the provision of decent work. Our objective should be to build regional value chains that produce finished products rather than merely exporting raw materials. For far too long, Africa has exported opportunity while in itself importing prosperity. We have exported raw materials, as you and I were talking earlier in our tete-a-tete, and imported manufactured goods. We have created industries elsewhere, while unemployment has remained one of our constant and greatest challenges here at home in our two countries. That model cannot define Africa's future. The days when our minerals leave our shores simply as rock and dust must steadily come to an end. Instead, we should increasingly process, refine, manufacture, and innovate here in Southern Africa, creating value for our own economies and opportunities for our own people. There are boundless opportunities that lie before us. The Orange Basin is emerging as one of the world's most promising new energy frontiers. Its development presents us with the opportunity not simply to extract oil and gas, but to establish an integrated regional energy economy that encompasses exploration, engineering, refining, petrochemicals, logistics, maritime services, and advanced manufacturing as well. And we congratulate Namibia on its remarkable offshore discoveries, which have rightly attracted global attention. South Africa likewise continues to explore the considerable potential of our own offshore resources, which are, interestingly, just close to yours. Given our shared geology and geographic proximity, there is a compelling case for closer collaboration in areas such as exploration, infrastructure development, skills development, and investment promotion. Equally significant are the opportunities presented by green hydrogen. South Africa's Boegoebaai Deep Water Port and Green Hydrogen Development Program, situated close to our common border, presents an important opportunity to collaborate in building a globally competitive green industrial corridor that will link our two countries. Our cooperation in mining should also continue to be deepened. Beyond uranium, diamonds, and copper, Namibia's expanding portfolio of critical minerals in many ways presents exciting opportunities for joint exploration, geological mapping, scientific research, as well as downstream beneficiation. Finalizing our Memorandum of Understanding on Geology and Mining will provide an important framework for this work. Our respective councils for geoscience should work closely together in undertaking joint scientific assessments and unlocking new investment for opportunities rather. Water security is another strategic imperative. A water-scarce country like Namibia and South Africa, sharing important transborder water systems and aquifers, We should cooperate in integrated water resource management, and it is essential not only for sustainable development, but also for climate resilience and long-term regional stability. Trade and investment remain central pillars of a relationship between our two countries. South Africa welcomes the growing presence of South African companies investing in Namibia and equally encourage greater Namibian investment into South Africa. We should actively encourage partnerships between our private sectors, develop finance institutions, and state-owned enterprises. And it is good today that we are going to have a business forum which will bring together businesses from both our countries. And together we can identify bankable projects in infrastructure, in logistics, in agriculture, in manufacturing, in renewable energy and digital technologies. Removing unnecessary barriers to trade, improving border efficiency, and strengthening transport corridors between our two countries will be essential if we are to realize the full potential of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Within SACU, SADC, and the AU, our countries remain steadfast in advancing regional integration and the aspirations of our continent, Agenda 2063. Peace and development are inseparable. Without peace, there can be no investment. Without security, there can be no sustainable development. South Africa and Namibia, therefore, reaffirm our commitment to African-led solutions to African challenges. We remain concerned by the continued instability in the Eastern DRC. We also remain concerned about the security situation in Cabo Delgado, in our sister country, Mozambique. We continue to be concerned about the developments in the Sudan and in South Sudan, and the persistent instability across parts of the Sahel in West Africa. Together, we will continue supporting regional and continental efforts aimed at achieving lasting peace. At the international level, we remain committed to multilateralism, international law, and the peaceful resolution of disputes. We will continue working together as Namibia and South Africa to advance the reform of the global governance institutions, the United Nations Security Council, and others, so that they better reflect contemporary realities and Africa's rightful place within the international community. Your Excellency, migration remains a shared continental challenge requiring shared continental solutions. South Africa remains committed to ensuring and enforcing its immigration laws fairly, firmly, and consistently, while upholding the constitutional values and human dignity that define our democracy. We believe that sustained dialogue, enhanced border cooperation, orderly labor mobility, and inclusive economic development remain the most effective long-term responses to migration pressures across our continent. South Africa is not alone in having to deal with the challenge of migration. I know that a number of other countries in our own region are also having to deal with this challenge. Finally, Your Excellency, our generation has inherited from those who came before us a relationship built through sacrifice and sustained through trust. Our responsibility is to leave to the future generations a partnership that is even stronger, one that delivers opportunity, prosperity, and hope to every citizen of South Africa and Namibia. May this fourth session of our Binational Commission be remembered not simply for the agreements we conclude, but for the momentum that we will generate and the future that we will build together. It is therefore my great honor to declare the fourth session of the South African-Namibia Binational Commission officially open. I thank you all, and all of those from Namibia, you are most welcome. This is your second home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now have the honor to equally invite the President of the Republic of Namibia, Her Excellency Dr. Nandi-Ndaitwah, Madam, as also the co-chair of this fourth Binational Commission. Madam President.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and co-chair of this summit, honorable ministers from the Republic of South Africa and the Republic of Namibia, Your Excellencies, the High Commissioners of Namibia and the Acting High Commissioner of South Africa, senior officials, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me from the onset to thank you, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, and through you, the government and the people of the Republic of South Africa, for exceptionally warm welcome and generous hospitality extended to me and the Namibian delegation since we arrived in Pretoria. Yes, we are always home, as it's always a great pleasure to visit this sister republic, a country with which Namibia's destiny has been intertwined long before our two nations raised their flags of independence and freedom. The city of Pretoria holds a chapter of our own liberation struggle in its streets. It was here in Pretoria that our compatriot, Antima Toivoya, together with 36 other Namibians, stood trial under the notorious Terrorism Act for singular offense of demanding that Namibia determine its own future. It was also here, too, that President Nelson Mandela and his comrades stood trial in the Rivonia trial, refusing to trade their principle for their freedom. Two people tried on the same soil, by the same system, for the same crime of imagining themselves free. In his memory, we know tomorrow, 18th July 2026, we observe an International Nelson Mandela Day designated by the United Nations in 2009. As we commemorate his extraordinary legacy, let us dedicate the 6-7 minutes to save others, symbolizing the 6-7 years President Mandela devoted to the struggle for justice, equality, and human dignity. It is a reminder that each of us has the power to make a meaningful and lasting difference in the lives of others. As President Nelson Mandela so profoundly reminded us, and I quote, "It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it," end of quote. May we honor his legacy, not only with our words, but through our action, compassion, and unwavering commitment to building a more just, peaceful, and inclusive societies. That common history, Comrade President, is the reason this binational commission exists. While political freedom was attained and the struggle for total emancipation of our people require us to deliver tangible economic benefit for the mutual benefit of our people. It's for this reason, Comrade President, that our predecessors in 2012 decided to elevate the heads of state bilateral economic meeting to a binational commission to strengthen our cooperation, because as neighbors, we have no choice but to cooperate in good faith, guided by the spirit of good neighborliness and the common goal, good of our people. The late former President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Hage Geingob, put this truly simple, and I quote, "You can choose your friends, but you cannot choose your neighbors." Namibia has never treated that statement as a resignation, but as an instruction to act and cooperate in the spirit of good neighborhood, deliberately and always. Your Excellency, it is in that same spirit of good neighborliness that President Mandela and President Sam Nujoma came together and declared that we should urgently address the question of the Orange River boundary, which has been the subject of discussion between our two countries for over the decades without conclusion. I'm happy during this summit, we are expecting a report which you are going to consider, which will be presented by ministers responsible for the political, diplomatic, and legal committee, as they were directed at the 2017 summit, and we have learned they met in Swakopmund in October 2024. The report of the Joint Committee will be presented to this binational commission summit for consideration. As the late founding president of Namibia, Dr. Sam Nujoma, once said, "An opportunity should always be for the future generation," end of quote. It's my hope that this summit will be remembered as the moment we honored that instruction and brought this matter to its rightful conclusion, thus closing the chapter of decolonization in our region for the benefit of not only our generation, but also future generation. Your Excellency, at this stage, I would like to thank our ministers and officials for the quality of their work in preparing for this summit, and I look forward to its success. It's my hope that we will leave this summit with realistic, implementable decisions that serve our people better. Your Excellency, allow me also to express Namibia's and me personally, our gratitude for the 100 million Rand Presidential Drought Relief Project, which is being used to install boreholes across Namibia. This is a clear testimony to the deep bond of unity, mutual support, and shared responsibility that continue to underpin our bilateral relations and cooperation. With Namibia once again in the grasp of the El Nino-induced drought, that joint technical team of our two countries responsible for steering the implementation of this project, conducted a site visit in the Oshkoto, Hangwena, and Zambezi regions of Namibia between the 1st and the 6th June 2026. The purpose was to finalize the modernization of the completion of the project, with the remaining 27 million rand earmarked for the second phase. With great appreciation, Your Excellency, I'm looking forward to the completion of the remaining boreholes identified for installation in specific region. By expanding access to clean, reliable water in the arid country like Namibia, this project strengthens livelihood and reaffirms our responsibility to one another. Namibia therefore expresses its profound gratitude to you, Your Excellency, and to the people of Namibia. Como President, we have identified several high-impact priority areas for consideration during this summit of the NBNC. These priorities include exploring the possibility of formalizing the proposal to transmit electricity from Angola through Namibia to South Africa. Central to advancing the regional agenda for deeper industrialization, enhancing market integration, and sustainable economic growth and development is the development of reliable and interconnected energy infrastructure, which remains indispensable for accelerating regional integration and unlocking the productive potential of our economy. I would therefore propose to you, Como President, that as part of this Binational Commission decision, we mandate our two ministers responsible for energy to engage their Angolan counterpart to formalize the proposal to transmit electricity from Angola through Namibia to South Africa. Regarding cooperation in other areas like clean energy or nuclear energy, Namibia welcomes the idea. However, I might inform that Namibia is only now working on its legal framework for nuclear energy. Once the policy and the legal framework are in place, we will have a clear path for cooperation on the subject. Como President, while we appreciate the global efforts to discuss climate change, we in Namibia also acknowledge that all countries are not at the same level of development. Hence, the codification of the principle of common but differentiated responsibility under international environmental agreement. This principle continues to inform us approaching to the development of our oil and gas industry in Namibia that Your Excellency have referred to, and working together, it will definitely benefit both our countries. And we'll do that while we remain cognizant of our responsibility as a state to contribute to the global efforts to address climate change. Your Excellency, Namibia welcomes the decision by our heads of state at the 9th SACU Summit in Cape Town in June 26 to accelerate the conclusion of the reimagining SACU agenda. We do not view this as a technical exercise for officials alone, but as a question of whether our customs union will remain fit to shield the economics of SACU from global trading environment that is increasingly unpredictable. Namibia looks forward to working with South Africa and the rest of SACU member states to ensure that reimagining SACU serve the industrialization aspiration of our economies. As we meet here today, Como President, we are meeting at a time that is more dangerous and less predictable, a time marked by unilateral tariff, conflict in the Middle East, and instability that reach deeper into our own continent. However, despite the protection we have put in place for ourselves as a family of nations, the established, respected, rule-based international order is under continued strain. International laws and United Nations Charter need to be strengthened. Your Excellency, Namibia and South Africa remain resolved in supporting one another or working together to be on the side of the people who are still fighting for their self-determination. These are the people of Palestine and Western Sahara. Your Excellency, permit me before I conclude to commend South Africa for its stewardship of the Southern Africa Development Community, first as an interim chair, and from August this year, a full chair. Namibia has every confidence that under South Africa's guidance, our region will advance industrialization, integration, and resilience on the shared interest of all our people. Allow me also, on behalf of the government and the people of Namibia, Comrade President, to extend our warmest wishes to you and the people of South Africa for the forthcoming municipal elections in 4th May 2026. Namibia stands behind the people of South Africa in this democratic exercise, and they believe that the election will be conducted peacefully, as South Africa has always done. Your Excellency, once again, thank you for your hospitality, and I look forward to successful outcome of the 4th session of the Namibia-South Africa Binational Commission. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you for your remarks, Your Excellency. Madam President. Your Excellencies, I will now ask members of the media to please take leave of us for the closed session. Mr. Nelson Huete, please facilitate members of the media.